Authorizing. 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 Authorizing.
What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in for Pinstripes Uncensored. We made it to episode 11. Episode 11. Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe, a New Jersey native. And ironically, for our guest, we have an up-and-coming New Jersey legend, too. How about that?
Yeah, we should keep it a secret for maybe a couple of months.
Until he pops on.
Little secret.
But you know me, I'm CK. That's my guy, Anthony, King of the Pinstripes. Pins on his hat, always at the stadium. Mr. Lucky Fist Bump. You know what it is. Talk to the people, Anth. How you doing?
Doing great. Yankees last night, killing it. But they also have me a little confused because it's like, who are they? Who are the real Yankees? That's what I would love to know. I feel like we're either too high, too low, and nothing in the middle. And that's what scares me. That scares me a lot.
Scaring me too, and we make a petition not to play in the. I mean, yesterday they won, but this season, man, when they play in the rain, it hasn't been that good.
Yeah, but they're playing a San Diego team that never sees rains, and then that never see the rain.
And they beat us in the rain.
Doesn't really rain over there.
And they beat us in the rain. It rains all the time. That makes no sense. Come on now. So Yankees, I don't know if you should just whenever you see a raindrop, just call the game. That's it. Here he is, the flyest guy in New York sports media, Keith McPherson. Keith, thanks for jumping on with us.
Yo, thanks for having me. Good morning. Let's go Yanks and let's talk about them.
Yes. Okay. Before we begin, you know our guy, the Twin Stripe Reporters. They actually had a request for me to tell you. So they want to call in to your show one day and like chop it up with you. You think if you can make that happen?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'll send them the bat line, and it's got to be one of my shows that I start at 7 o'clock so that they can get to bed. We won't have them call in at 1 a.m.
For sure. So you're responsible for. We're not saying you're responsible, but we're like you started the movement for the players to have beards and to stop playing Frank when the Yankees lose. So I have another movement for you. I don't know. I think you're gonna like it.
Lay it on me.
All right. The Yankees need to retire number 52 for CC Sabathia. What do you think? Let's start that movement.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't have to even put that in motion. That's going to happen. CC's a Hall of Famer. They just had the homecoming dinner a couple nights ago, and CC was honored there. And this is what the Yankees do. They retire numbers, and they have these days where guys come back. Obviously, the last one we really had was Derek Jeter. So, yeah, CC's in line for that. They're going to honor CC. He's going to get 52 retired, and we're going to have CC Sabathia Day at Yankee Stadium sometime soon.
All right, let's go.
So speaking of retiring numbers, you think their team will ever get retired?
I don't think Jazz is going to be Nah. The thing is, with A-Rod, I think, guys our age, our generation, we look at A-Rod as like a huge part of the last World Series run and that group. And, we look at him as one of the best baseball players ever and a guy that could be, in Monument Park. But I don't think the Yankees are ever going for it. Just the way that A-Rod went out and how, he sued the Yankees and he just put kind of like a bad stain on the organization and, the whole scandal with the steroids. And, yeah, I don't think they'll ever honor him in that way. I don't think they're not on bad terms. Like, I don't think they're on bad terms because he's come back to spring training. But as far as retiring that number, I don't think we'll see that number retired. You saw Joey Gallo wear that number, and now you got Jazz Chisholm wearing the 13. So yeah, I don't think we see that get retired for Alex Rodriguez. Maybe somebody down the line can be good enough to get it put there.
Okay. So speaking of Jazz, based on what you've seen from the Yankees so far, how would you assess this team or grade them?
I'll say that they've left a lot of meat on the bone, a lot of food on the table. They should have probably 24 or 25 wins right now. And I know we can attribute a lot of that to blown saves, blown games late, whether it was mostly Devin Williams or Mark Leiter Jr. or Aaron Boone's mistakes. This Yankee team, they're in first place. This Yankee team, they have the best player in the game. They arguably have the best pitcher in the American League, one of the best pitchers in the game, and a lot of young talent that has emerged, and some pleasant surprises like Trent Grisham and Paul Goldschmidt. It's just so early in the season. We're 6 weeks in come tomorrow. It'll be 6 weeks since opening day tomorrow. So the way I assess it is, they're kind of working some things out. And, yeah, you want more. And, they should have more series wins and win streaks. And there's some games you wish you could have gotten back. But it's been fun so far. A game like last night where they scored 12 runs. They've already had multiple games with double-digit runs scored. Like, the Yankees are going to be a good team. And I think the plan is to get back to the World Series. And when you look at this American League, of course they can.
On Hockey Night jersey giveaway, that was my first time in Section 203. You've been pretty, known that's had a special place for you. Can you explain, the aura around the bleachers 203 section?
Yeah, I was pumped to see you out there. My guy, King of Pinstripes, knows the vibes, man. It's just like when you come to the bleachers, a lot of the fans out there have been out there for years. So that creates a family vibe, right? There's history there. And then a lot of those fans are diehard fans. They're not the bougie fans. The bleachers used to chant box seats suck. It's fluid out there, right? And I always tell people that because I'll be out there in the bleachers with a credential under my shirt where I could go sit upstairs next to Susan if I wanted to, but somebody won't know who I am and they'll be like, "Hey, you're in my seat," and I'm like, "Oh, there's no assigned seats out here. These are benches, bro. Chill. I'll move down or I'll move over. You got it." It is just a different outdoor environment, and I always say 203 is the heartbeat of Yankee Stadium, and there's so much history and family and tradition out there, from the roll call to the little dun-dun-dun-dun med suck, the little things that go on in that section that don't go on in any other section because we just know to go to 203. It started a long time ago, and it's been passed on season after season.
Okay.
It's crazy how different sections in Yankee Stadium, it's so different. So last night I was sitting first time in the Delta Lounge. Well, it's a big change. That's all I have to say.
It's nice, but it is bougie. It's for the rich. It's I remember running into Judge's parents in Delta. They used to sit behind the dugout, and then Judge got to his level of the year where he hit 62 homers, and they didn't want to be on camera so much. I remember seeing my boy Deezus Nice in Delta. John Jaskremski, who is on SNY and the Ringer there. You guys probably know David Rifkin.
Yes, I know Rifkin.
He's got season tickets there. He's got his name on the seat. The Delta Suite has its own bar, its own food, its own entrance, and those seats are right behind home plate, a little bit elevated. It's just not as rowdy as the other sections. It's a good place to catch foul balls, and you have the media right above you. You have the radio, the TV, the reporters right above you. So, yeah, it's just a different experience. It's nothing like being out in the bleachers or even being in the lower bowl 100 level.
So you mentioned Paul Goldschmidt. So Aaron Judge essentially is our superstar. So every Batman needs a Robin. Is there a Robin on this Yankees team or in the farm system?
Yeah, a Robin to Judge's Batman. Well, we had one last year with Juan Soto, who is just not the same guy all of a sudden. I don't know. Something changed with that guy. What happened to that guy? He's all right, but he's not the generational player. Anyway, If there is a Robin to Judge's Batman, it would have to be Paul Goldschmidt. His batting average, his knocks, how clutch he's been. When he came here, some people thought he was washed up and done, and he's turned back the clock, and he's been great. Now, if I wanted to add like a Nightwing or another sidekick, it'd be Ben Rice. Because Ben Rice early on in this season has come up clutch, hitting homers, even last night. Yeah, Benny Blanco Arroz. He's been great too. And if I even throw another sidekick out there, I don't know who he'd be. Maybe he'd be. Let me think of the Batman world. No, they don't have to do many. It's Batman. It's Robin. It's Nightwing. It's maybe it's Batman Beyond. Trent Grisham has turned into a reliable leadoff hitter, and he's got 9 home runs on the year. Like, who would have thought Trent Grisham would be this when we weren't expecting him to even start? We were expecting him to be on the bench as a 4th outfielder.
So you mentioned Juan Soto. Oh, how do you call him? You said so-so or
Juan Soto. He's been so-so. He's
right.
batting like 250, 5 homers. He's not the same guy he was for the Yankees. He was box office for the Yankees last year.
Do you think he's like an ex that, didn't want to break up, but they did, but now they're just thinking about each other from both sides? Or
so this is where I've come to, because I was like, I was making a joke on the radio last week about, I'm like, Juan Soto and the Mets are like the dude who chases the girl that he sees online and is obsessing over this girl online. Like, yo, she's so bad. She's a 10. And then you meet her in real life and you finally get her and you're like, she's a regular girl. She didn't look like she looked on Instagram or Tinder or whatever else. But now I've flipped it because I'm like, you know what it is? When you think about the money, Juan Soto was always chasing the money and the big contract and free agency. So he's the girl who thought, oh, I'm going to marry rich. He's the girl that thought, oh, I'm going to get this rich guy to take care of me, and left the guy who had some money, because, if you look at the Yankees, you can't say they're broke, left the guy that had some money, had a good enough job, but wanted more. And now you're with the richer guy, but you realize what you left. Now you're over there with the Mets, and you're not shuffling the same. You're not smiling. You're not celebrating so much. There's no handshakes going on. You're pressing. You're popping the ball up. You're working your walks. But when Pete Alonso's homering, you're not celebrating with him. It's a little different. And what I'll say lastly about Juan Soto is he's young. He's 26, and he spent 1 year here in New York. And I don't think that was actually enough time for him to comprehend Mets versus Yankees is like, oil and milk. It's like it doesn't mix. Like, Mets versus Yankees fans and rivalry, like, you going from the Yankees to the Mets, like, now Yankee fans hate you. They're selling F. Juan Soto shirts outside the stadium and doing the chants inside the stadium. Like, I don't think Juan Soto understand what it meant to play 1 year for the Yankees and then take the money across town with the Mets. And now he's a Met for the rest of his career. It's going to be interesting when we get to that Subway Series.
Keith, you preaching, man. Sheesh.
That's what he does.
I haven't heard anything like that. But so what do you think is going to happen when he comes here? First game, March 16, Friday night. Friday night at Yankee Stadium. Super crazy. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm counting down the days. I don't have tickets yet, but I'm going to figure that out. I want to know. I got to figure out where I'm going to sit. I might be in 203. I might go down there in like 103, where the kid that caught Judge's homer and dropped it last night is, because that's going to be insane. Yeah, we're coming up on it. It is next Friday. It is Friday of next week, and I honestly think Juan Soto will respond in that environment. He's coming back home, right? He's coming back to Yankee Stadium. He's a villain now. And I remember when he was a young player with the Nationals, there was an interview in Spanish only that I watched, and I got the subtitles on it, where he was talking about how great it was to play in Yankee Stadium for the first time, because there's Latinos there. He could hear some Latinos in the crowd speaking Spanish, and even the fans, how the fans were, heckling him and booing him, and how he responded in that environment. So I expect that to be the craziest environment of the season, Mets fans and Yankee fans. And the type of player he is, if he doesn't respond then, when will he respond? Like, I think he needs to be in a heightened environment. He needs to be in a postseason like environment to get the best out of himself. And I think it's gonna hit another level when he gets back to Yankee Stadium. And it's not a Juan Soto roll call. There's not a re-sign Soto. Instead, it's F Juan Soto. Like, it's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be crazy.
Here we go. We go to the fun part of the episode. So I got some fun questions for you. So you've seen the 100-man verse, one gorilla. So I'm going to do 10 Yankees from past to present to take on the gorilla. And because of the Yankee players, we're going to say that the 10 players can take on the gorilla. Which 10 Yankees are you choosing?
Ooh, which 10 Yankees? Judge, obviously, because he's a monster. Stanton is another monster. Dellin Betances is another guy, like 6'7".
6'8".
6'8". That's why he wears 6'8". CC Sabathia is another guy. Like, you don't want any smoke with him. He's a beast. Let me go back a little bit. Michael Pineda, when he was a Yankee, Big Mike. That was a guy who's just a big body. I'm throwing Dominguez in there. He's not that tall, but if like the Yes Network put a picture out or a video out of him yesterday, I'm like, this dude's yoked. He's got the muscles. He's a little linebacker. Somebody's got to get low on the gorilla. So we'll have Dominguez attack low. That's 6. Who else is like that, man? Maybe throw in Tyler Austin because he was fiery. I always remember that Joe Kelly brought. Like, he wanted smoke. We'll throw another smaller guy in there, and Tyler Austin. Paul O'Neill, younger Paul O'Neill, not the Paul O'Neill that we have now. I'm talking about the warrior Paul O'Neill. Put Paul O'Neill in that group. Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry will punch the gorilla in the head. Who else we got? Cecil Fielder. That's 10. That's 10 right there.
I was going to say Graham Lloyd.
Graham Lloyd.
he doesn't run away from any smoke, so...
Yeah, the Yankees through the years have plenty of guys that you would want on your side in a fight.
About Verdugo, too.
Verdugo, I mean, he was a tough guy, kind of, but I guess you could put him in there as
maybe not over the guys you put, but I think he's in the combo.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of tough guy in him. I always remember Verdugo barking at the left field bleachers when he was with the Red Sox. I'm like, is this guy crazy? They're going to throw stuff at his head.
See, I have a question. So what was it like stepping into the role in WFAN, especially following a legend like Steve Summers? How was that like? Like, how has it been?
It's kind of crazy now that this is my 4th season, and I've just gotten so used to it, the shift and everything that comes with preparing for a radio show and, like, you know, not tooting my own horn, but like the fame and the notoriety and people recognizing you and like being somebody in New York in the media. Like, I've adjusted to it, but at first it was crazy. At first it was like I didn't sleep. There were nights that I cried tears of joy, like I made it. There were also, you know, nights where I was like, damn, people are hating on me like crazy. Like, I was getting ridiculous hate, whether it was racism or whether it was just people knocking my voice or my hair or like just my style or how I, you know, just like, you know, when you get on the radio and you become a public figure, you're susceptible to everybody. Like, there's just anybody can say anything about you. And I kind of went from like being a lower level, like podcaster and like kind of having a buzz to like, boom. And like you mentioned, Steve Summers, when you're replacing a legend, no one can replace a legend. He's an icon. I love Steve. He's 101. Those are big shoes to fill. But I, from the first day, said, I'm not going to try and walk in his shoes. I'm going to walk in my shoes. I'm going to be me. And that's going to be good enough. And it has been. So I'm extremely blessed that like I went to school for radio and television. I got a job in New York and I did a bunch of other things to figure it out and put it together. And then when the opportunity came for me to actually be a radio host, I was prepared. I was ready, and I'm still learning and I'm still getting better. But yeah, it's crazy. It's a dream come true. Like, I'll never forget. I'm in Puerto Rico with my wife when they dropped the news and I got the call, and the amount of people that text my phone, DMs, calls, it was just like, it was huge, man. So I'm now 4 years in, from 2021 to 2025. You know, August will make 4 years since my audition. And there's levels to anything. Like now I'm trying to be the best. Now I'm trying to be one of the best ever. Now I'm trying to be an icon. Now I'm trying to go on that mic every night and have people say, yo, this is the best guy on the station. Yo, KM to AM, that's my favorite show. Yo, Keith kills it. Like, you know, you just got to kind of build. So yeah, it's crazy to think about what it was like in the beginning, how daunting it was, just how different life was. And fast forward to now, man, I could do these shows blindfolded. I could do this stuff with no prep. Like I'm built for it. Every day I'm getting ready to go on air. Every day I'm listening to the radio. I'm looking at social media and I'm thinking about my show and like what I'm going to do and how I'm going to deliver that night.
So since you're like one of the GOATs and like what you said, that you could do it blindfolded, what advice you would give to anyone out there that wants to break into the sports media?
Get reps and practice in the dark. And I've done so many podcasts and interviews where I've said these same things because this is what I was doing, right? I was a social media manager in New York City from 2015, 16, 17, 18. And I saw people coming up in the ranks on Yankees Twitter, on podcasts, on YouTube. And I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, you know, they're not better than me. They're not more talented than me. They don't have a better voice than me. They're not better looking than me. I could do that. But it's one thing to say I could do it. It's another thing to put it in motion. So you got to practice. And when I say practice in the dark, you know, practice saying your name. Like, you know how many times I used to practice saying like, this is Keith McPherson, or, you know, and like now every night on the Fan, I have to say, hey, you know, Keith McPherson on the Fan, we'll be right back. But like just even saying your own name can trip you up. And if you can't say your own name, like when I say practice in the dark, you know, I was going live and there were 4 people watching. I was going live and I had friends from high school clowning me. I had people behind my back saying like, this guy thinks he's something. This guy thinks he's going to be something. This guy sucks. He should go back to doing what he was doing. Get real, get a real job. And I struggled. I was broke. I collected unemployment. I drove Lyft, Uber. I sold my things. Like I sold my DJ equipment. I sold collector's items. I sold Jordans just to like be able to pay my rent and get by. But ultimately I knew like I'm going to win. It's only a matter of time because every day I'm stacking. Every day I'm getting reps. So what I would say to anybody starting this is don't expect it to happen quickly, but like go through it and you'll get to it. The process is what's preparing you. Those reps and those episodes and those videos and those posts and all of that is building so that when you do get an opportunity to be in front of a camera or on the microphone at a higher level, you're prepared. It just, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day and nothing great happens overnight. And you got to kind of like, you know, be patient and believe in yourself. And then after a while, like you'll get where you're going to go. And also if you're no good, people will tell you and you'll figure out whether you should do something else. But if you're doing good, if you're doing well, there'll be little things along the way. Like people always forget with me, before I got to WFAN, like the Yes Network found me. The Yes Network brought me in. The Yes Network put me in a couple commercials. That was back in 2019. Fast forward, WFAN finds me in 2021. You know, they didn't know I was broke and struggling back then. They didn't know I was showing up to the stadium with a free ticket or the cheapest ticket I could get, vlogging and doing content and turning my camera on in the bleachers. And like people didn't know, you know, that I was just like trying to figure it out. But like little things along the way, like the Yes Network inviting me to a game or a suite and putting me in a commercial, it was like, okay, that was all of the like reinforcement I needed to know to keep going and know like, hey, this is working and like I'm going to get there. And, you know, it took some years, but honestly, in the grand scheme of things, like I said, 2018 was when I quit my job. I thought it would take like 10 years to get to where I am now. And it really didn't because of social media. There's no more gatekeepers. And like, if you're dope and you're building a podcast or a brand or a channel or an Instagram account or whatever, you know, people can find it because of the algorithm. So, yeah.
Well, we appreciate you saying that because when we started this podcast, we were one of the people that we wanted to have on the show because we aspire to be more like you, actually. So we do appreciate it.
Yeah. And I try to give back and show love to everybody in the Yankee universe because everybody's not like that. Like there are some people that have gotten big and have built off of, you know, Yankee fans and connections and stuff. And now they just do their own thing and they don't do podcasts and they don't do guest appearances and they don't try and lift other people up or pull everybody up. Man, there's room for all of us. The Yankees have the biggest brand in the world. They have the biggest fan base. in the world, and there's a ton of people looking for Yankees content. So, keep doing your thing, guys. And if you love it, right? If you're already going to watch the game, if you're already going to go to the game and talk about it anyway, why not do it on a show, on a podcast?
Mm-hmm.
So I always wanted to start something. I think it was back 2021 or so. I wanted to start like this show, Pinstripes Uncensored. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know my stuff when it comes to baseball, especially Yankees baseball, and I feel like in front of a camera, my mind goes blank. So what you do for a living, like, I salute you for everything, like what you do, because it's hard, man.
Yeah, it's not easy, and that's why I say practice in the dark. When I say practice when nobody's watching, film yourself. Talking about, I don't know, Jason Dominguez. Hey, last night Jason Dominguez was great. First pitch swinging from the left side, first pitch swinging from the right side, a hustle double, really got the team going. And then like go back and look at yourself and work on your like eye contact. Like I've been on TV. I was on MLB Network. I've been on yesterday. People talk about stage presence. I develop my stage presence. I stare right into the camera, even with the microphone. Like I'm right on the microphone, and I've perfected like how to use my voice and my tone and my inflection and like being grammatically correct and enunciating and like how to even do like impressions or voices or inflection or emphasis on things. Like it takes time. So yeah, man. What I'll say too is, I've been doing this for a long time. Like I went to school for it. I knew very young what I wanted to do. I played sports, but I knew I wasn't going pro. I'm like, I want to work in sports media. Your ears are on the side of your mouth, and all of us hear our own voices. And like me, I used to be so self-conscious. I didn't like my voice. I didn't like the way my voice sounded. And then I just realized like your voice sounds different to everyone else than the way you hear it. You almost hear it inside of yourself, and you got to get over that. Like your voice is God-given. And as you kind of figure out your actual voice, when they talk about finding your voice, once you find your voice, you'll be good. And you don't know. Now I have people call up the show. I love your voice. I have people write online. Like I listen because like I love his voice. Like I can listen to him talk for hours. And I'm like, wow, to think that years ago I would like record my voice and listen back to it and be like, I sound terrible. This sucks. Like my voice is trash. Like you just got to kind of defeat your own ego and like defeat what you think about yourself, because that is your biggest obstacle and enemy, right? Being so critical of how you look and how you sound and thinking that other people think that isn't what people think. It's hard to kind of get over, but once you get over that, the sky's the limit,
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So since you play football, right? Which Yankee will be a great football player, and what position will you put them?
They do not say Aaron Judge.
We know
Judge. Don't say Aaron Judge tight end.
I mean, Dominguez is built like a freaking linebacker running back. And like I just said, like with him running, man, he hit that double and it was like he got out of the box. He barely stepped on first. Next thing you know, he's sliding and he's, by the time they get the ball in, he's turning around, looking at the dugout. Dominguez is built like a football player. Stanton is another one. I met Stanton in 2014 and I'm like, yo, this dude looks like a tight end. Like he looks like he could be in the NFL. Who else looks like on this current Yankees team they could play?
Jazz could play, but they play DB. Yeah,
Jazz looks like he could be like a receiver. Volpe looks like he could be a little corner, like a DB.
Slot quarterback, yeah.
Yeah. Who else is got like the football kind of like look and build? I think
Yarborough kind of gives a quarterback kind of. He's tall enough. Yarborough.
Yeah. Maybe even Bellinger. Bellinger looks like he could be a QB. The Yankees have had guys like Drew Henson. Who else? Deion Sanders. Yeah. They've had some guys that have crossed over and been both football and baseball guys.
So fun fact about Keith, I don't even know if you even know this. Your high school rivals rankings, you were ranked higher than Chris Hogan. I did my research.
Shout out to Chris Hogan. I swear I was just talking about Chris Hogan. So this past weekend, I went to a charity event for the McCourty twins, Jason and Devin McCourty. and we were talking about college football, and I talked about how, I was a scholarship athlete, and my 5th year, I gave my scholarship back because I wanted to get out of school. I'm like, 5 years in college is forever. And I was getting good on the radio, and I had an opportunity at Monmouth University to be on the radio Monday through Friday that summer, 3 p.m. to 6. And I was like, if I do this, I can't play football. And I'm like, I should have stayed that year, because the year that I gave my scholarship back was the year that Chris Hogan transferred in from Penn State playing lacrosse to play football at Monmouth. So I would have had 1 year of playing on the team with Chris Hogan. I met him a couple times, but I'm like, we would have probably been boys. We probably would have been friends, because we would have been working out together. We would have been in the weight room together. We would have been running routes and playing on the same field every day. So yeah, it's funny. Chris Hogan went to Ramapo.
Ramapo, yeah, he's from my hood.
And yeah, he was a good high school football player, but he was better at lacrosse. He went to Penn State, played lacrosse, and then transferred to Monmouth University. But yeah, coming out, I was one of the top-ranked quarterbacks in the state. I went to the Governor's Bowl, New York versus New Jersey. I was the 3rd-ranked quarterback on that roster, and I balled out in that game. I was the best quarterback on the field that day. But what I'll say is I fell out of love with the game. Like, when I went down to Virginia and I saw that, like, okay, once you're a scholarship athlete, you're a contracted athlete. It becomes a business. And these coaches that tell you they love you and they want you to be a star and all this, it gets very militant, and like going to practice and running and lifting and study hall and class. It's like, damn, every day. And I went to James Madison University, where it was 68% girls. So all I wanted to do was party and meet girls. Something had to give. I leave there, transfer to Monmouth University. I played 2 years. My first year, I have to sit out because the transfer portal didn't exist like it exists now, where all of these quarterbacks transfer and they play right away. You had to sit out a year. And then my next year, I broke my foot in May of that season, and it didn't really heal properly until about September, and the season had started. And then the year after was the year where I was like, I'm done, man. And I knew, thank God I knew. I'm like, I got to get out of here with this radio and television degree, and I'm going to make it in New York by like having this like media degree. Like, no matter what, I'm going to figure it out. And I have. So everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. So you were a DJ, or you're still a DJ. So which Yankee would you select to be the clubhouse DJ?
Oh, Jazz seems to just know the bops. He's got his own song. He seems like a hip hop head. Who else do I think is a good guy that possibly? I think Judge probably controls a lot of the music too in the clubhouse as the captain. And Judge has a few songs in hip hop where they reference his name. I think Nestor used to be a DJ, one of the main guys playing the beats. But yeah, I would have to go with Jazz and Judge. Jazz and Judge as a DJ tandem.
So who's your favorite Yankee of all time?
I always say Jeter, but like I haven't been able to get to Jeter. It's really Bernie. You know why? Because like I have a relationship with Bernie and his manager now. And when I first started playing baseball as a kid, I always say like, and I didn't even know Bernie was Puerto Rican when I was 8, 9, 10. I didn't learn Bernie was, Bernabe from Puerto Rico until I was like 12, yo. So when you're a young black dude, you're looking for somebody that looks like you. Like my complexion, I'm not Alfonso Soriano. And I also played center field. So, I was fast when I played baseball. I was playing center field and leading off. And, Bernie was so clutch and a switch hitter. And I think he's still underrated, man. I still think Bernie, obviously everybody says it should be the core 5. And yeah, what I'll say is Bernie is my favorite player because of the man he is, bro. Like I can't tell you, like it honestly, like the story about Bernie, like is the story how I said I cried tears of joy, how like I got emotional. Like I come to find out Bernie Williams is following me on Instagram and I'm not following him back. I didn't know he had an Instagram. And Bernie's manager reaches out to me and says that like, Bernie used to listen to Steve Summers, and when you came on, he gave you a shot and he really took a liking to your show. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, I was Bernie Williams for Halloween, back-to-back Halloweens, like 2nd and 3rd grade, like, 5'1", like Bernie, I don't know. And for Bernie to meet me, and every time I see Bernie, he's so nice. He's so gracious. He treats everybody with respect. And like, I'm playing in his softball game this year again. I'm invited to his wine event in upstate, and I'm VIP. I'm sitting right next to Bernie Williams, and it's just a huge blessing for somebody that you idolize like that as a kid. You had his trading card, you had his jersey, you dressed up as him for Halloween for 25 years to go by, 30 years to go by, and you get to meet the guy, and he's like a fan of you and like welcomes you into his fold. It is insane. So Bernie's my favorite guy. But obviously, I watched Jeter's whole career. I was in the fan cave in 2014, Jeter's farewell captain season. I got to go to the All-Star game in Minnesota, his last All-Star game. Everybody loves Jeets because, he was a winner and the captain and the tone that he set. It was, World Series or nothing. But I still haven't met Jeter. I haven't been able to shake his hand, get in a room with him. So, it's Bernie, it's Jeter, and Judge is Judge is up there. Judge is getting up there. I just need Judgy to do it in the postseason and win a World Series. I've had a lot of fun watching Judge. I was at his first game, and I've seen so many of Judge's games live and homers live. So I would say it's Bernie 1A, Jeter 1B, and Judge is right there as like a 2 or a 1C.
Okay.
For me, it's Jeter, Andy Pettitte, Cecil Sabathia, John Patantis, and obviously, my favorite card player.
Mariano.
Okay,
I can't leave out Mariano because like we have struggled, and obviously with Devin Williams and Clay Holmes and going back to Chapman, like,
Come on.
when that Enter Sandman came on, like 95% of the time it was raps. And like as we get further away from, Mariano, the unanimous Hall of Famer, like you just realize like he had a unhittable pitch and he was so dialed and locked in, and it was nothing for him. And Mariano's somebody I've gotten to meet through Bernie.
Well, you gotta save all that talk for the ninth inning, I should say. Before we end the show, we're gonna get back to the Devin Williams.
Okay.
I saw everything on Instagram, what you said about him, but we'll see. So I'm gonna ask you 2 questions that pretty much had everybody going crazy about. The first one is gonna be like a quick little game: start, bench, cut. So it's either you're gonna start, bench, or cut the player. Aaron Judge, Babe Ruth, or Derek Jeter? Who you got?
I'm not a Babe Ruth guy. Respect to Babe Ruth, but like he just played in a different era and time where I'm like, there's no way this dude, like I just feel like they over sensationalize like what he was back then. He wasn't playing against any brothers. He wasn't playing against any Dominicans or any, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was playing against like just regular average Joes. And yeah, he dominated them, but I'm cutting Babe Ruth, bro. Like I'm cutting Babe Ruth. Like he benefited off of, being the most famous baseball player in the time that he played. He would not be able to play in this time.
So you're gonna start.
Yeah, so I'm starting Judge. Judge is imagine Judge. They probably would have killed Judge back then. They would have tried to burn him at the stake. They would have tried to shoot him. They would have thought Judge was not a real person back then. They would have been like, this guy is an alien, cyborg, robot, mutant, X-Men. Like, get him out of here. Judge is a freak. And Judge, like what he's doing right now in modern day baseball without steroids, like we are blessed to be Yankee fans in this Judge era. And I pray, fingers crossed, that this is the year that like he can go off in the postseason and propel us to the World Series. And then, of course, you keep the captain on the bench, Mr. Clutch. You got a pinch hit. You can count on Derek Jeter. You got to put him in, even for a defensive replacement. He'll make a heads-up defensive play.
All right, so this is the one that's going to get CK pretty much angry or happy at the same one of them, either or. So I said this for the past 3-4 episodes. Same shit I'm going to say. If the Dodgers or Boston was in the World Series, and I'm going to tell you why. Who are you going to pick to win, to root for? Not root for like you got to clap, you got to stand up and go crazy when they score. Just from afar, who would you like to win the World Series between Dodgers and Boston?
I'd like a meteor to hit the planet. Let's break that down, bro.
You have to pick
We're
because,
talking about this World Series coming up, right? Like if this next World Series is Dodgers, Red Sox again, a repeat of 2018.
No, because I said as of right now, I dislike the Dodgers so damn much. As of right now, that I can't believe.
If the Dodgers win the next World Series, they are the first team to repeat as the World Series champions, and then that erases the Yankees repeat.
Okay, so would you agree with me that I would love to see Boston win? I can't believe I'm saying this. CK and I went back and forth with this. I had others.
I would have to root for Boston. Unfortunately,
come on.
Listen. I'm giving you. I just thought about it in my head. How many World Series? You've watched Boston win a bunch of World Series now. Yeah. They win. Like they've won a bunch of championships. But like I just said, and coincidence, I'm drinking from the three-peat mug.
That's
the
it.
Yankees still hold that. Like even with the Super Bowl, the Chiefs not winning, like they didn't three-peat. So the Yankees being the last team to repeat, if the Dodgers beat us this past year and then win again this year, that's a double smack in the face. If the Red Sox win it this year, it's like, all right, here, Beantown, another championship. It sucks, but like that's another thing too. The Red Sox rivalry versus the Yankees does not have the juice it had when we were kids. It is not the same. I don't care. I don't think about them. I still hate the Astros more than them. And now, like you're saying, bro, the Dodgers. Like my sister lives in West Hollywood. I've told people I've been to Dodger Stadium more than Citi Field. I thought about going to the series against the Dodgers coming up later in the month into June. And I'm like, nah, I don't know if I can stomach it. I don't know if I can look at their World Series 2025 or 2024 banner and their merch and their fans. Like now that they got that one over us and the way that it all played out and how they mocked us and how that fifth inning and they talked about Yankees. I'm like, I hate the Dodgers now. And I used to love the Dodgers. I used to love their history from, being in Brooklyn and Jackie Robinson and going across the country and some of the players and stuff that they have. And I appreciated how they always were competing as far as trade deadline and free agency. But now I'm like, man, F the Dodgers. I would be rooting for the Red Sox to win it. I'm sorry.
Man, I would love to thank you so much. Thank you, Keith. Thank you for everything, man. People got mad at me for saying that. But I don't think about Boston whatsoever. It's not the same from back then. I don't like them, but
I'm not. If this 2025 World Series is the Boston Red Sox versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, Red Sox in 4. Get it over with as quick as possible. Another championship for the Red Sox. They're still not catching us. But we cannot have the Dodgers win back-to-back World Series and let 2024 be they embarrassed us, and 2025 they've been the first team to repeat since us. Nope.
What? CK, come on. That's it. It's already done, right?
I guess I'm outnumbered here.
Thank you.
But I'm standing my ground. I'm rooting for the Dodgers. I can never, in my bone, root for Boston.
I'm not rooting for it's the lesser of two evils. You got to pick one.
Yeah.
And when you lay everything out, Red Sox.
So hating the NL team is like a hobby. Hating our division rival is a job. So that's how I look at it. But
yeah, but like it's just recency bias as well. The Dodgers beat us last year. The Dodgers would erase our, being the last team to go back to back, and they've been so smug about it. And you know what? Add this too. Hal Steinbrenner said, I don't think we need to have over a $300 million payroll. I don't think, having the most expensive team translates to winning. If they win again, that makes that statement look even worse. All they did was defer money and add more players and more talent to their team. If they win again, people talk about how they're the new Yankees. They're the new evil empire. No, bro. No.
Thank you.
No.
And that is why I have to make a tough choice and pick the Red Sox. But what do you think about Hal and Cashman?
I just you know what? It's funny you asked that because last night, the Yankees hit 50 million paid attendance in the new stadium. 50 million people have come out since 2009 to the new ballpark. And that is a lot. And like I said, we're addicted, clearly, because like we ain't won a World Series since 2009. And 50 million people have pulled up and paid to be in that ballpark. They made $400 million plus last year off of the run to the World Series. They are making money hand over fist. And we got Pablo Reyes in the lineup. You know what I'm saying? We got Cookie Carrasco DFA'd, but he was making starts. To me, like, that doesn't, the math ain't math in there, bro. Like, y'all make so much money, you got to spend it on the team. They're worth almost $8 billion. But like, I'll say that they do get a lot of flack. They do get a lot of hate, and they do keep us competitive. Like, Hal was willing to give Juan Soto $760 million. Brian Cashman does keep us in it. Like, we are competitive. We are in it. But I feel like they got to go all in at one point. Like, we always are. It's half measured, right? We knew we needed a third baseman. They didn't go and do it. Like this would have been the year to do it. You were ready to give Juan Soto that money, and you pivoted and added all these players. Why not add? So, like, when it comes to Hal and Cashman, I'll say business is booming, and they don't see anything wrong in what they're doing. And I know they want to win, but I'm like, do they want to win bad enough? Do they want to win where they go to the next level and they do buy? I don't know, man. I want to get back to the World Series this year and win it, because I feel like if it's not this year or next year, like, this window is going to be closed, and they got to push it. They got to say, okay, we're willing to spend. We're willing to make the trade. We're willing to go that extra step to get Judge and get Cole. You know, I miss Cole this year, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like them being at the helm, they gotta go to the next level. Look at what the Dodgers are willing to do.
There's one guy that I feel bad for, and that's Aaron Judge. I said it the other day. I feel so bad for him because he's not young. His window's closing, and what he's been doing for us, not just the greatest, just everything, like jersey sales, people showing up. I thought after Derek Jeter, that's it. Who are we going to name captain, right? You have this guy, and they haven't gave him everything. Like, yes, we've been going to the playoffs, but going all in, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt their pockets, pretty much.
Yeah, I always yell, stack the deck. Please stack the deck around him. And, like, don't let your past moves stop you from doing that. You decided to put Giancarlo Stanton on this team. You know, you decided to give DJ that contract. You decided to bring in Josh Donaldson. You decided to bring in, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need more. And, you know, that's why I appreciated them going to get Juan Soto last year via trade, because I'm like, okay, now they're giving Judge a sidekick. They're giving Judge a tag team partner. At this trade deadline, they got to go all in. They got to add another bat, another starting pitcher. Like, they got to go for what they can. And I don't want to hear about prospects. I don't want to hear about getting fleeced. Like, no, go all in, because Judge is in his prime. He just turned 33. We've honestly got like 2-3 more years until, you know, this window closes, in my opinion, until Cole is aging out, until Judge is aging out, until Stanton can barely walk or swing. Like, the time is now. We got to win one now.
You are like for this question. So I want you to blind rank these color commentators, 1 being the best and 5 being the worst. I'm going to name 5 names for you.
Okay.
The trouble.
Cameron
Maybin?
Yes.
4. And shout out to my guy, Cam. Killer Cam. Cam is the best.
Joe Girardi.
3.
3. Kenny Singleton.
5. But no disrespect to Kenny, and Kenny's been off for a little while. But there were definitely some Sundays Kenny was on where I took a nap.
All right. David Cone.
Cone gets number 1. Or no, Cone gets 2. Cone gets 2, and I'm waiting for go ahead.
Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill gets 1. I love Paul. I just feel like Paul adds a level of humor, humility, but like also hitting expertise, and like, Paul is our guy. Paul is great. I loved during the pandemic him being in Ohio and that thing. So like, yeah, I love when Paul is on the broadcast. Cone is another close second, but he's not on as much, and he does ESPN. What did I put? Girardi at 3, giving us good insight as a former manager and catcher. Cam Maben at 4. He was short lived, but he was young and he added great stories and a little bit of sauce and flair to the thing. And then Ken Singleton at 5. I'm fine with that ranking.
I like Paul O'Neill because he's different.
And between Paul and Coney, both guys I've worked with and been around and done events and things with, and they're great. I love both of those guys.
We're doing a hypothetical. You're Brian Cashman. The trade deadline is coming up. Who is a player that you're realistically trying to target?
Sandy Alcantara is what everybody says, but I'm not even on that, man.
You're prone for me.
I'm not there yet, but I need another right-handed bat at third base. I need another right-handed bat at third base. I also need another starting pitcher that I would feel comfortable pitching in the postseason. And every year at the deadline, someone goes out there and gets a Max Scherzer or even like a Jack Flaherty that it's like, okay, this guy's going to make starts for you in the postseason. So I need a right-handed bat at third base. I need a starting pitcher that can pitch in the postseason. And then last but not least, maybe another reliever. If Devin Williams is not going to work out, and it's Luke Weaver, it's Fernando Cruz, I know Loaiza is coming back, give me another high-leverage reliever.
So I was thinking maybe another New Jersey native who always kills us, Zach Gallen of Arizona. I know he's up for
I would love to get Zach Gallen. He pitched well last night against the Mets. If they were able to get Zach Gallen in here, let's go.
You see, my swag is still 2010. I know you launched Keith McPherson brand. Talk about that.
Yeah, so, I just learned you got to own your own and you got to expand. And I've worked with so many different people and just been a part of their companies or their brands. And honestly, what the motivation was, I'm a trailblazer. I'm the first in my family to go to college and graduate. I'm the first one to actually make it. And I have a son now. So my son was born in 2023. And by the end of that year, I'm like, I need to start an LLC. I need to start a business around who I am and like people that rock with me, where like if I lost my job at WFAN or if I keep, working at WFAN, I have another source of income, another way to make money and just another way to like represent myself that is not attached to a company, anyone else, like my own company. So McPhersonbrand.com, when you go to that, you see the KM merch, where I've got the KM to AM logo. I've got the McPherson brand M logo. We're starting to make Yankees specific shirts now. I'm really going to launch that. I think actually Friday I'm going to do like a little bit of a sale. I also have some of my articles out there that, are credible sources that have written about, me and my journey. And then I have a whole blurb about like my ascent from the Jersey Shore to New York City, and how I made it. And what I'm able to do with McPherson Brand LLC, I have the actual business. I've done voiceover work for the New York Red Bulls. I've spoken at a couple high schools now doing public speaking, motivational speaking. I'm selling the shirts under McPherson Brand and McPherson Brand LLC. I'm doing influencer marketing under McPherson Brand and McPherson LLC. And then pretty soon I will get back to DJing and throwing parties and hosting like networking events, all under my own brand that is completely independent from WFAN Sports Talk Radio. It is something that I am starting now. Now, really it was late 2023, all through 2024 into 2025. That is limitless. Who knows where it'll be when we get to the 2030s or 40s. But I hope that, through the YouTube channel, which I name McPherson Brand as well, that I build an actual brand and company that my son can inherit and my son can follow up with. Jackson McPherson. Like I could make it Keith McPherson, but I made it McPherson Brand LLC specifically because it's something that I want my family to have. And what I've seen is there are a lot of people out here that have money and like if you want to have wealth, like your family's got to own some type of company and business. And I think that I'm going to be popular enough and famous enough to have multiple streams of income through my own business. So yeah, that's the long and short of making McPherson Brand LLC, McPhersonBrand.com, McPherson Brand YouTube, merch, appearances, DJing events, talking to kids, doing public speaking, motivational speaking, influencer marketing, just doing business, man. Just trying to be about my business.
You also said you're going to do some networking events in the summer. I definitely want to attend one of those too when you get that set up. So please.
Yeah. I want to do something. It's just kind of late. I want to do some Yankee watch parties, whether they're in the city, whether they're down the shore. We get, creators together. I want to do a networking event where, it's like a happy hour and I DJ and people just exchange info and kind of connect. And yeah, I'm working on it. Frank Luna, right? I got to tap in with Frank Luna. You actually reminded me to text Frank about Memorial Day weekend and see what he's doing.
Yeah, Frank is such an amazing guy.
Yes.
So just to end the show, this is, like I said, you're everywhere on social media.
Yeah.
Want to talk about the comments on Devin Williams? You said, I'm done with Devin Williams, and it's not just him, it's the decision to go to Devin Williams.
Yeah, and I'll speak on it. I was supportive of Devin Williams. I met Devin Williams at the Pinstripe Pride event. I've been rooting for the guy. I'm rooting for everybody black, man. I'm like, all right, we got a black closer, like this guy coming in. I want to see this guy succeed, but it's compounded. When you stack these layers and follow me here, right? This guy got traded for, and he's going to be a free agent. So what we gave up for him, Nestor Cortez is on a 60-day IL, and Caleb Durbin might have never played here. We don't know. So we didn't give up much for him. That's one layer. Then he's going to be a free agent. So what we've already seen, would you pay him what he's going to make in the free agent market? How much would you pay Devin Williams to come back? I'm not paying him. I'm already done. I don't see any way that he overcomes all these things. Follow me. He comes here, he shaves his beard. The baseball world goes, oh my God, they made him shave. And then the Yankees removed the beard policy. So now he is the poster boy for, okay, they shaved, they took their beard policy away. Now they have beards, and they didn't make this guy shave. But why did they do that? They wanted him to be comfortable. They wanted him to perform. They wanted him to succeed. So they said, hey, this is something that isn't that big to us. If it makes you feel better about yourself, great. He hasn't been comfortable. He hasn't performed. And there are Yankee fans now saying it's the beard curse. There are Yankee fans saying he should shave to get right. It's compounded. Here's another layer of it. He went on paternity leave. Fans blamed him for us losing that series against the Diamondbacks because it changed the bullpen, right? So I'm not ever going to, I have a kid. I know what it's like, but I'm never going to say anything about people going on paternity leave. But he went on paternity leave, and before that, he got booed. His first time in Yankee Stadium, he was booed. It sucks. He comes back from paternity leave. There are too many games that he was on the mound and they lost. The Pirates, the Tigers, Tampa. It's okay, this is just stacking the chips against him. I was at the game against the Blue Jays, 2-1 lead. They put him in, and he walks a guy, he hits a guy, or he gives up a single and is hit by a pitch, and the fans start chanting, "We want Weaver." We have a closer in Luke Weaver, right? So at least we have a closer, and we can go back to him. We don't need to force Devin Williams. Okay, how do we force Devin Williams after that? We pitch him on the road because Yankee Stadium is too tough on him. The fans are too tough on him. He gets right. He has 3 good outings. We come back to Yankee Stadium, a rain-delayed game where there's not that many fans. They throw him out there, and there's excuses again about the mound and him missing his spots, and he ends up walking 2 guys. We end up blowing that game. We should be sweeping the Padres tonight. All of these things have stacked a book against this guy. And now it's another thing for Aaron Boone to think about. Instead of thinking about how to manage the game and win the game, it's when can we fit Devin Williams in? Is this a good spot for Devin Williams? Got to treat him with kid gloves. We have bigger fish to fry than getting Devin Williams right. We have a closer. We have Loaiziga coming back. We have Fernando Cruz. We have other guys in this bullpen that we can rely on. Devin Williams should be a low-leverage guy. They should look to trade him. I'm done. The experiment did not go well. Everybody cannot pitch in New York. We gave him an opportunity. I don't like his body language. I don't even like it's fastball changeup, and it's all around and all over the zone. And I'm telling you, this team has an opportunity to go back to the World Series and win it. Even if he does get right, and baseball just happens, right? Like baseball happened with Pete Alonso. That's another layer. The Met fans saying, Pete broke him. But like, even if he does get right, and then we rely on him in October, and somebody just gets the best out of him, we'll never live it down. The fans will never live it down. He'll never live it down. And we'll look at Boone, like a lot of fans look at Boone and say, why'd you pull Garrett Cole in game one? Why'd you go to Nestor Cortez? We would have been in the series. Like, I want to avoid that. You know what I'm saying? I want to avoid those decisions. Like, this is compounded. We need to just wave the white flag and say, you know what? We threw something at the wall. It didn't work. Let's move on. We don't need to make this season about Devin Williams. He's not cut out for New York. It's been so obvious. And then even last year, he had the stress fractures in his back. Nobody's talking about that. Maybe he's not the same pitcher. And this is the hardest place to play. I'm seeing the writing on the wall. I'm seeing the future. We cannot make this season about getting Devin Williams right. We have a closer. We have a setup man. We have Loizaga coming back. I'm worried that they are going to spend this season doing what they always do, trying to find a spot for Zach Britton, or trying to find a place to hit Joey Gallo, or trying to find no, we don't need it. Try to trade him, because you're not going to re-sign him now. And what you gave up for him was nothing. We have Aaron Judge. We have Paul Goldschmidt. We have Ben Rice, Trent Grisham. We have enough players on this team to succeed this year. Do not add a net negative in Devin Williams and make it all about getting it right for him. The fans are not gonna go for it, man. He's already got enough, against him. I feel adamant about this, and I didn't want to. I was telling the fans, give him a shot. We gave him a shot. It's been 6 weeks of the season, and they keep telling us he's gonna return to form. No, he's not going back to Milwaukee. This is New York. This is the big stage. There's a lot of pressure. It ain't for everybody. We've seen enough of a sample size to know the pinstripes are too heavy for Devin Williams. Enough. He lost the closer spot. Now you can't even pitch him as a setup guy. Like, bro, I'm worried about this. I do not want this season to become, how do we figure it out with Devin Williams? Put him on the IL, trade his ass. Like, we've got enough good things going. This has been a net negative.
So done completely. Nothing could change your mind.
So, I mean, only thing that could change my mind is him coming back and pitching well, right? But like I said, it's baseball. You're going to fail. He throws 2 pitches, and his fastball velocity is down, and he's got to throw the fastball to set up the changeup, the airbender. And I just don't like the conundrum of when do we pitch him? You can't throw him with a lead. You cannot put him out there ever again with a lead. The fans will not accept it. So he has to be a low leverage guy. And what's the point of having the best closer in the game and having him in low leverage? So what can change my mind? His performance. But I just think it's too hard. Baseball is a game of failure. I think it's too hard for him to succeed.
So who will you trade him for?
Anyone at this point. A starting pitcher, if we can get a starting pitcher, a third, anyone at this point. But his value is lower than it's ever been. What I'm saying is you trade him because it did not work. And all of the other factors on top of it, from the beard policy to Pete Alonso to having your own closer, it just makes this an untenable situation. It makes it an unnecessary fight. We don't have to add this, right? We've got enough issues and problems. We don't need to add this as another one. They're not going to sign him in free agency. He's not going to sign long-term here. They tried to make a move for a guy and thought that maybe he'd succeed here. He hasn't succeeded here. Let's move on. Let's just call it a day. Call a spade a spade. Let's move on.
You think Cashman and Hal was saying the truth when they said the beard policy been in the works?
Yes.
Or they just changed it for him?
It's been in the works. They talked to a lot of players. You could see a lot of players celebrate it. Like Jeter talked about it. CeCe talked about it. And from what I know, Cameron Maybin we spoke of. Cameron Maybin was on this 2 years ago. This came up when Luis Castillo was potentially going to be traded here. There are players that, in this modern day times, they think it's stupid to have to cut their hair or shave their beards or conform for a baseball team. And you know what? The Yankees don't have that cachet anymore because they don't win. They don't dominate. They don't win the World Series year after year. They don't go to the World Series year after year. So it's hard for you to tell a player, hey, you got to change like the rest of these Yankees. Well, the rest of those Yankees have rings. The rest of those Yankees were champions. It's not just Devin Williams, but he is the poster child of it. And I think he was the main, thing. They saw the reaction to him having to shave, but I think it was in the works. I think it was something. And Hal said, we want to get ahead of this. We don't want in the future there to be a player that we lose out on because they don't want to shave. So.
All right, well, Keith, this has been awesome. We really appreciate you giving up your time to talk to us. And like I said before, you're inspiration to me. I like start being a content creator, and I'm always tuning into the show. And I always enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing you at Fanatics Fest, Yankee games, and your networking events in the summer. And I truly appreciate you jumping on and talking ball with us.
Yo, appreciate both of you guys, man. Good luck with everything. I'm glad we could find time to do this. I've obviously seen you guys at events and at the stadium, so I'm rooting for you, and I appreciate the support as well. Let's go Yanks, and I'll see you in the Bronx or at the next event. And when this comes out, make sure to tag me, and I'll retweet and I'll share to give you guys a little bit of a bump.
Well, this has been episode 11. Keith, what an amazing interview. Wow, learned so much about him. Real in-depth knowledge. Good to see. Known Keith for a while, and wow, I'm still blown away.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it means a lot to me because we sat in the bleachers together. So to see him where he's at right now, it's special because it's hard to make it. Like, it's very hard to make it. So I love seeing everyone winning.
And he's a guy that truly embodies that. As you saw, he made time for us, a smaller podcast.
Yep.
On.
Just every single day, we're going to get to where we want them.
For sure. Well, thank you for tuning in for episode 11. I'm CK. That's my guy, King of Pinstripes. And we look forward to seeing you either at the stadium. If you see us, say hi to us, take a pic, do whatever you want to do. But we'll be around. You'll see us. But until then, stay tuned to episode 12. Until then, let's go Yanks.
Go Yanks. Let's go.